What is happening, everyone? Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Live Album Wars. Today we've got two pretty special ones. One from 1969, the other from 1977. The first one we're going to discuss is actually the band's debut album. How about that? Let's release a live album as our debut album. The other from a very popular vocalist who had a certain band called the Alice Cooper Group. Eventually that group disbanded and the singer decided to fully take on the persona of Alice Cooper and go on a solo career. And this happens to be a live album, kind of culminating the Welcome to My Nightmare era. Of course, we're talking about Kick Out the Jams by the MC5 first, and then Alice Cooper with the Alice Cooper Show. All right. Two pretty cool albums. I dig them both quite a bit. So let's talk about the MC5 first. So for many people, myself included, probably the precursor to what became punk. Call it proto-punk, all right? Pretty groundbreaking stuff when you consider the time period. All right, late 60s, there really was no such thing as punk right about there. You had the MC5, okay, you had the Stooges right around that time, maybe a little bit later, kind of doing some punkish things. You know, Blue Cheer maybe a little bit, right, also around that time. Maybe some of that early Who stuff also had maybe kind of like a punk, sound before we actually started calling things punk. But definitely this live album captures a lot of the spirit of what we later became to commonly call punk music, all right, with the Sex Pistols and the Clash and so on and so forth. You had also the New York Dolls in the early 70s as well. So you had, a couple bands who were kind of paving the way, but I think it was the MC5 that really got things kickstarted. But as you listen to this album, it's raw, it's raucous, it's fiery, it's heavy, it's metallic, it's brutal, okay, some of the seeds of early heavy metal are here too as well, except Fast and Furious, right? So recorded in October of 1968 at the Grand Ballroom in Detroit, Michigan, all right? Not a ton of content on here. This album is maybe 35 minutes long or something like that, but you got some pretty spirited material on here, right? So it kicks off with Ramblin' Rose, basically the guys up on stage kind of, jiving with the audience before we get a little music finally for about a minute. And then that moves into the title track, Kick Out the Jams, Fast and Furious. Okay, like I said, very punky. Come Together, another rip-roaring, snarling track. All right. Rocket Reducer, number 62, Rama Lama Fa Fa Fa. Pretty heavy tune. I dig it. Borderline's great. It's just not long enough. Motor City is Burning. Kind of a bluesy track. A little bit of a different tune for this album. The MC5 doing a little bit of blues. Kind of heavy blues, right? And then you got I Want You Right Now. One of my favorite tunes on here. Kind of reminds me, got the riffs kind of remind me of Wild Thing, right? Pretty similar. And then finishing it all off, you got the lengthy 8-minute plus Starship. Again, kind of distorted, fuzzy, feedback-laden guitar riffs and licks flying all over the place. Wayne Kramer spewing out all sorts of stuff behind the microphone. A pretty cool album. Again, it's raw, it's rough, it's in your face. Not a long album, right? Single LP release, single disc right here. And, unfortunately, this is the band's first album. It's the best thing they ever did, right? They really weren't around that long, and nothing they ever followed this up with was anywhere near as good as this. Okay, but again, why not release a live album first, right? Because it became legendary. Can't argue that, right? So, next up, we've got the Alice Cooper Show, right? Again, like I mentioned, this is kind of... they released a movie, right? Okay, this was recorded live in Las Vegas at the Aladdin Hotel, August 19th and 20th, 1977, during Alice's King of the Silver Screen United States tour. All right, they also made a TV special, okay, Alice Cooper and Friends, featuring live footage from that tour. This was kind of all released around the same time. Pretty special band here for Alice and Company. It had Steve Hunter and Dick Wagner on co-lead guitars. All right, two pretty notable guys. Also played with Lou Reed. Not long before that, you had Prakash John on bass and vocals, Fred Mandel on keyboards, and Whitney Glenn on drums. Okay, so this, of course, is after the breakup of the original Alice Cooper group, who went on to form a band called Billion Dollar Babies, right? So some good material on here, all right, and good performances. You kicks off with Under My Wheels, kind of Alice's kind of punky tune, or Alice's punk tune, I should say, right? So some of the material on here, not that far removed from the MC5 type stuff. The classic 18, dark, hard rock classic. Then you've got Only Women Bleed, the ballad. Could have done without that on here. It's an okay tune, but kind of breaks up. That's my one issue with this album, is you got a couple really slow mellow tunes that kind of break up all the really raucous hard rock of the rest. Sick Things. It's great on here. Of course, it's only a minute long. Is It My Body? Awesome. Okay, all 2 minutes and 28 seconds of it. I Never Cry. Again, another mellow tune, kind of breaks up the steamrolling effect of the couple tunes before it. Billion Dollar Babies is up next. A classic tune. Okay, done very well here. Then you've got Devil's Food and The Black Widow. Okay, awesome. I think the highlights of this set is that. But then, of course, they go into You and Me. Again, breaking the momentum a little bit. And then I Love the Dead, Go to Hell, and Wish You Were Here. Incredible. I think for me, the highlights of this entire album is the Devil's Food, Black Widow combo, and then I Love the Dead, Go to Hell, and Wish You Were Here. Great. And then it finishes everything up with School's Out. Okay, obviously one of Alice's more popular tunes ever. So what do I think when I kind of look at these both side to side? Well, as most of you know from watching this show, I'm a big Alice Cooper fan. I really am. This could have been a lot better. Okay, first of all, would have been nice if it was a double. I just think that they could have changed the set list a little bit. You know, I get you wanting to throw some of the ballads in here because, you know, late 70s record labels are pushing for that kind of stuff. Got to get played on the radio, you know, live albums. You know, up until this point, you had a bunch of popular live albums, and let's pull out one of the ballads from the live album, make that a single. It just really breaks up the momentum of the rest of this album, in my opinion. But I love the performances on here. They're great, okay? I just think that this was a missed opportunity. It could have been better. This, on the other hand, okay, is a barn burner of an album. Short, sweet, to the point, kick to the gut. As they're kicking out the jams, kicking your gut in, bashing your head in. This is as raw and primal as it gets. I'm gonna have to give it to the MC5 on this one. You know, as much as I love Alice, so let me tell you, I love Alice a lot more than I love the MC5. But this is undeniably a groundbreaking live album. Like I said, the precursor to punk, proto-punk, call it what you want. So much energy on this album. You know, you want a pure rock and roll experience from the 60s, all right? Doesn't get much better than this. So, like I said, short and sweet, but oh so good. Kick out the jams, gets my vote between the two. This is a 8th round knockout. You know, the Alice Cooper live album's got a handful of really, really great tracks, but man, a couple of them, while good songs, I would have rather heard other stuff thrown in on this live album. You know, you could fit one ballad, maybe two, but three, pushing it a little bit for me. And it's also a really short live album. I mean, you know, you got the majority of the tracks are like, 2-3 minutes long. All right. And a couple of the combo tracks or little medleys are a little longer, obviously. But I think this would have been better served to be a fully packed double album with all sorts of glorious stuff. But what are you going to do? So, 8th round TKO from the MC5 today. Make sure you vote. You're going to see a little white circle up in the upper right-hand corner, a little letter I in it. Click on that. Vote for the MC5 or Alice Cooper, whichever album you prefer. Also go on our Facebook page. You can vote there as well. All right. In 6 days, we're going to tally up the votes for both, put them together. The winner will go on to the second round. Will it be the MC5 or will it be Alice Cooper? We shall see, right? Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we are on YouTube every day. We got more classic live album wars coming up. I was actually looking at my spreadsheet before, and I have quite a lot left to do. So what I'm going to start doing, I think, over the next week is I'm going to start doubling up each day and giving you guys 2 of them, because we got to get caught up, because I forgot how many I had listed. So we're going to try and get through all of them so we can start up the second round, get all of our winners from round 1 going against each other, right? So we can kind of speed up that process a little bit. And I'm sure you guys won't mind seeing 2 videos a day, right? Why not? If I can squeeze in 3, I'll do 3. So we'll see. They'll all be up there. Easy to find. All you got to do is go to, if you miss a couple, you go to the playlist. They'll all be listed there. Also, make sure we've got a lot of subscribers joining up with us over the last month or 2. Great to see, but we need more. So if everybody who watches this channel refers one person to come and subscribe, okay, we will double our viewership and our subscriptions very, very quickly. So that's your homework, everybody. Go out and make sure that you recommend Sea Tranquility to a friend or a relative who you know is not watching us here. Recommend, make sure they subscribe. All right, we want to get to, we're right on the cusp of 10,000. I want 20,000 by the time 2020 rolls around. That would be great. All right, it's kind of a long shot, but we have a few months. But if everybody recommends 1 or 2 people to us, we'll get there pretty damn quick. We're almost 9,000 strong right now, so let's see if we can get there. This is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. Check out all our reviews, 22,000 plus reviews on the website. Check us out on Facebook. We got the daily polls, all sorts of other fun stuff. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube every day. So we'll see you guys tomorrow with more classic live album wars. Hope to squeeze in a questions and answers this Sunday as well. So stay tuned. All right, we'll see you. Bye.